All right, so have you ever felt like you're just kind of wandering in the wilderness,
Yeah.
spiritually speaking?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Not really sure where you're going or how to get there.
Like you're lost in the desert.
Exactly. Today we are going to dive deep into Hebrews chapter 3
Ooh, good one.
to figure out how Jesus offers us a different way, a different kind of rest, something way more powerful than even what Moses offered to the Israelites.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I think this chapter really gets to that, the heart of what makes Jesus unique
Totally.
and, why he deserves our ultimate allegiance, why we follow him.
For sure. Right off the bat, we're just thrown into this comparison. Moses and Jesus.
Two big names.
Two huge figures, both leading people to, like a promised land.
Yeah.
What do you think? Why do you think the author of Hebrews starts with this parallel?
Mm-hmm.
Especially writing to Jewish Christians.
I think it's really smart, right? Because these early Jewish Christians, they knew Moses' story.
Inside and out.
Like the back of their hands, leading the Israelites out of Egypt, slavery. So the author's finding some common ground there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then he goes further. He's like, okay, you revere Moses, we get it, but have you thought about how much greater Jesus is?
Okay, so then we get to verse 3. This one blows my mind a little bit every time I read it.
Yeah.
So it says, Jesus deserves greater glory than Moses.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because he's not just part of God's house. He's not just like a worker in the house, like a faithful servant, but he's the one who built the whole thing.
Yeah.
So can you unpack that a little bit? Why is that such a big deal?
Okay, imagine you're walking into this huge, magnificent cathedral.
Okay.
You look at the stained glass, the carvings, the size of the thing. It's amazing, right? You can even see the work, all the little details from the stonemasons.
Yeah.
The artisans who built it, right? But at the end of the day, who are you really in awe of? The architect, the one with the vision.
Yes, the one who designed the whole thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so Moses, he was faithful. We're not taking that away from him.
Absolutely.
He was like one of those skilled workers in God's house. But Jesus, he is the architect.
Exactly.
He's the one who kicks off the whole plan.
He sets the whole plan in motion. He's the originator.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's huge. So that difference, what kind of implications does that have for us as believers?
I mean, it changes the whole game. Our faith, it's not about just following the rules,
Yeah.
Or like trying to be good enough on our own. It's about seeing Jesus as the foundation. He's the source. He's the one who makes it all possible.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the passage, it kind of takes this turn, right? Verse 7, we get real serious here. Almost like a warning sign.
Oh, yeah.
It feels a little different.
It's like, hold on, pay attention. Yeah, the author's quoting the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Warning us not to be like the Israelites. Don't harden your hearts.
Yeah, in the wilderness, those guys, they saw so much.
I know, they saw miracles, front row seats to God's power. And what did they do? Let doubt creep in, disobeyed. And that's why they missed out on the promised land.
They missed out on that rest God promised.
Exactly.
When I think of a hardened heart, it doesn't always feel like this outward, rebellious thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's quieter. It's being cynical instead of hopeful.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Shutting down instead of talking to God, letting fear just take over.
Yeah, it can be subtle.
It's sneaky.
A hardened heart can look like a lot of things, but basically it's us shutting God out. His voice, his guidance, his love.
And we end up like the Israelites, missing out on what God has for us.
The good stuff.
I was thinking about those times I've held on to bitterness, unforgiveness. It's like being stuck in my own wilderness.
I've been there.
Not able to move forward into that freedom, that peace God offers.
That's why verse 13 is so important. Encourage each other every day. We need each other. We weren't meant to go through this alone.
Absolutely.
We need people to point out when our hearts are getting hard, to remind us what's true, remind us about God's promises.
It's like having a spiritual buddy system. Someone to keep you on track when things get rough. So at the end of the day, what sets Jesus apart from Moses? Moses led them to the edge of the promised land. But Jesus, through his sacrifice, his resurrection, he opens the door to something so much bigger.
Yeah.
A rest that's not just a place, but like a deep peace and joy. And it's found in him.
That's it.
Okay, so we've seen that Jesus is worthy of more honor than Moses.
Absolutely.
He offers us this incredible inheritance. But here's the thing that I keep thinking about. The Israelites missed their rest because of unbelief.
Right.
What does that mean for us now? What about our rest?
That's the question, isn't it?
What's stopping us from entering that full life that Jesus offers? It's a question for all of us to think about. That's it for this deep dive into Hebrews 3.
See you next time.